Lunchtime, dinner time, bedtime, anytime stories, read to you by Nana and Papa.
This is the story of the Elves and the Shoemaker. There once was a shoemaker who worked very hard and was very honest, but still he couldn't earn enough to live on. And at last all he had in the world was gone. He just had enough leather to make one pair of shoes. So he cut the leather out, all ready to make up for the next day, meaning to get up early in the morning to do his work. His conscience was clear and his heart light amidst all his troubles. So he went peaceably to bed, left all his cares to heaven, and soon fell fast asleep. In the morning, after he said his prayers, he set himself down to do his work, when, to his great wonder, there stood the shoes already made. The good man didn't know what to say or think at such an odd thing happening. He looked at the workmanship. There wasn't one false stitch in the whole job. It was all so neat and true that it was quite a masterpiece. The same day,
a customer came in, and the shoes suited him so well that he willingly paid a higher price than usual for them, and the poor shoemaker, with the money, bought leather enough to make 2 pairs more. In the evening he cut out the work, and he went to bed early so that he might get up and do his work in the morning. When he got up in the morning, the work was done. Soon in came buyers who paid him handsomely for his goods, so that he bought enough leather for 4 more pairs. He cut out the work again, overnight, and he found it done again in the morning, just as before. And so it went on for some time. What he got ready in the evening was always done by the morning, and the good man soon became thriving and well off again.
One evening about Christmas time, as he and his wife were sitting over the fire chatting together, he said to her, "I should like to sit up and watch tonight, that we may see who it is that comes and does my work for me." The wife liked the thought, so they left the light burning and hid themselves in a corner of the room behind a curtain that was hung up there and watched what would happen.
As soon as it was midnight, there came in 2 little naked dwarfs, and they sat themselves on the shoemaker's bench, and they started to do all the work. They began to ply with their little fingers, stitching and wrapping and tapping away at such a rate that the shoemaker was all a wonder and could not take his eyes off them. And on they went all night until the job was quite done, and the shoes stood ready on the table for the next morning. This was long before daybreak, and they bustled away as quick as lightning.
The next day, the wife said to the shoemaker,
"These little dwarfs have made us rich. We ought to be thankful for them and do them a good turn if we can. I am quite sorry to see them run about as they do, and indeed it's not very decent, for they have nothing upon their backs to keep off the cold. I'll tell you what I will do. I will make each of them a shirt and a coat and a pair of pantaloons into the bargain, and you make each of them a little pair of shoes."
Well, the thought pleased the good cobbler very much, and one evening, when all the things were ready, they laid them on the table, instead of the work that they used to cut out, and then went and hid themselves to watch what the little elves would do.
About midnight, in they came, dancing and skipping and hopping around the room, and then they went to sit down and do their work as usual. But when they saw clothes lying out for them, they laughed and they chuckled, and they seemed very delighted. Then they dressed themselves in the twinkling of an eye, and they danced and they sprang about as merry as could be, till at last they danced out the door and away over the green. The good couple saw them no more, but everything went well with them from that time forward, as long as they lived.
And they did live happily ever
Ever
after.
after.